Hey everybody, Ben here from Cinderblock Studios, and I thought it was about time for a new house vlog. Haven't done one of these in probably almost a year. It was sort of the continuation of the moving vlog. It was about things that I was just doing with my house and stuff. In the process since then, I've been in the place for 2 years now, which is kind of crazy now that I'm thinking about it. So I thought I'd give you guys an update of some things and some projects that have been going on. So also, I'm not necessarily a regular art video, but since this is now going to be a Wednesday video, it's a nice little bonus for you guys. So the studio's mostly the same. There's some stuff that I kind of built recently. When I inherited some art supplies from my friend, I got all these pencils, so I built this little organizer for them, which I really like. I'm actually somewhat considering moving stuff out of my pencil box into here, just as I've actually been grabbing his pencils more than my own, just because they're more easily accessible. But the biggest addition to the studio is this shelf, which I actually built last week. It's not super sturdy, it's not super sort of straight either, but I was able to kind of wedge it into the corner and kind of really free up a lot of space here. So now I have sort of an actual space for my art books, which is really nice, as well as Jim's old brushes, just some extra counter space, which is huge. Sort of the lower shelf has always kind of been the prop shelf, and all my extra camera equipment, at least the stuff I use on a regular basis, is all down here. And then the bottom is just like a little extra space for storage. That's not an actual shelf, it's just sort of the base with an area. The canvas stuff's still in the corner, and there was my big A-frame easel here, which I moved to work on a project, and I think I might leave it where it is, which is on this side now, because there's not a lot over here besides some general storage. This is my collaborative project with Rare Earth Rain. We're a lot further along with it than we were 6 months ago when we started it. Things are really coming along, and I love it. This actually, I would say this is the first real kind of big time I've shown it on camera. It still needs a good bit of work, good bit of detailing, but it's really coming along. I'm pretty happy with it. So let me turn this back around. I'm going to head upstairs because that corner where that shelf is now, there used to be a little corner bookshelf there, and the biggest reason I got rid of that was just because I'm like, it's in the way. I can't really get anything out of it. It's more of a nuisance. So I was first just thinking, like, maybe I'll just sell it. And then I was like, sell it, don't sell it. And then I was like, well, you know what I do want to do is I've been meaning to get a new sort of couch or futon for the office. And that was sort of a big move, specifically because I was like, well, everything that I was looking at was either too long or too wide. So I was like, okay. And then about a month ago, I was at my parents' place, and there was this little futon-y couch thing that was my sister-in-law's when she and my brother lived in Colorado. And they were getting rid of it. They had used it for a couple of years, still at my parents' house. Like we gotta ask them, but do you want this? And I'm like, yeah, that'll work. And it's short enough, and so I ended up replacing the big bulky futon that's like 15 years old with this little guy, which oddly enough seems like it really fits. It's a little wet. I just wiped it off and vacuumed it because there was dog hair all over it. So now I have this nice little space here, which honestly I think it looks better than the old thing did. It looks like it really fits. It's mildly stained, but the big fleece cover that was on the old one's just going to go right on top of it, help hide some of that. And then of course in this corner is that corner bookshelf that was down in the studio, which I've now moved up to this side. The lamp that was here was on a nightstand, which is now over there. And this actually makes a lot more sense because everything in this drawer are like game controllers and stuff. So now they're next to the games where they were. The games themselves, I moved from the front bookshelf in my living room to this little shelf, which is I think actually where they were at the old place, was on this shelf. At least anything that has like a box or anything like that to it. So I've kind of got a nice little display going here with that, which is pretty good. And so in doing that and moving that around, I was like, well, if I move the games in here, I can move the games out of the bookshelf. And so I did that, and now I actually have all this extra space in here now, which is really, really great. So I was thinking, well, I think it's about time to now start really expanding my collection of like DVDs and Blu-rays, as well as starting to buy some manga that I've been looking at for a long time. So that's all the inside stuff, but there's a good bit of outside stuff actually. That's open. I'm gonna go out the front and kind of loop around the back. This corner of the awning had actually broken loose, which was dandy. So my dad had to come and fix that. It was like, oh well, that's great. That's another project. I'm doing some gardening this week. I'm off, so I have a whole lot of time to do stuff like that. Most significantly is going to be just to gut all this out, or at least most of it out. I kind of curated it and cultivated it. I want to get a shrub for this corner at some point. And at this point, it's just going to be a lot about yard cleanup. I've got all these sticks under my tree that fell through various storms, so that's, you know, dandy. Plus some work in the back. I want to plant like hot peppers this year. I think that would be really fun. So yeah, that's kind of the outside stuff. So yeah, that's sort of the bulk of it, and that's sort of the core of stuff that's kind of been occupying my time as of late, and what will be occupying my time for most of the week. I do hope to get some art videos recorded this week too. That'd be good to spend some time on. And the other final, most recent thing, my dad literally just left about a half hour ago, dropping off that futon thing, but also because I needed a new faucet for the kitchen. Actually, I'm from Pittsburgh, so I'm going to say spigot, because that's what I've been calling it the whole time. So the one I had, the biggest issue is that it was too low. It would only come out to about here. And I was constantly banging pots and pans on it. It's like the most basic one. So now I have the nice adjustable one with a hose that comes out. So that's really good. It's going to free up a lot of sink space for me. So he didn't do that for me. I actually did most of that work myself. He was just kind of like handing me tools while my back stretched and got all irritated because it's really hard to crawl under the sink. So yeah, that's what's kind of been going on. Little projects here and there. Paintings, as always, stuff that's going up. And just things to kind of keep myself occupied and things like that. Nothing super major, just some little TLC stuff here and there. And things are kind of looking up and looking better, which is really nice. So thanks guys for checking up with me on this little house vlog. I know some of you guys kind of like me in that you're sort of building your own place and doing stuff of your own. So that tends to be a nice thing to see, you know, somebody else doing it. And knowing that if I'm not putting out the kind of art videos that you maybe really want to see, this is why. This is all the other stuff I've got going on. Actually, I've got a big list of stuff to do this week. It includes mowing the grass for the first time in the season. So I'm working on making some garlic bread. It made a really awesome loaf of bread last week. It was like this braided Italian loaf with herbs. It's really good. But I got to start using some of this bread up. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, have a snack, work on cutting this video together, and I will see you guys Friday, so be sure to subscribe for more. And this is Ben from Cinderblock Studios. Yeah.